Okay. Explain to me how Pokemon doesn't suck, and I will make fun of you.
Well, the short of it is, it's a game for children that children enjoy.
Yeah, but you're 26, David.
Yeah, that's true. There's definitely a heck of a lot of people who are definitely a heck of a lot older than us who still love Pokemon.
Or, you've played it like 20 years ago and still enjoy Pokemon Red and never moved on to any other game, or I don't know.
So Arrested Development is your argument? I've never advanced beyond being 6 years old, so fuck you.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, well, this whole franchise is trying to give me a stroke, so...
But, anywho, it all supposedly started...
Oh, God, a history lesson.
At least for us in the US and Canada, around 1998, when Pokemon Red and Blue was first introduced. Letting children of any age be a 10-year-old kid that's completely allowed to travel out on their own in a giant world, in a large-sized world.
Okay, so this is my first problem with the whole deal, is they send 10-year-old children out with some monster animal gimmick and a little ball.
To at least somewhat protect themselves.
Yeah, okay, whatever. They're fucking animal gimmick monster thing.
Monsters.
Fuck you. Okay, so they send them out into an area that is known to be dangerous because if you try to leave, what's the name of your fucking town in the beginning?
Pallet Town.
Thank you. If you try to leave in the game, the professor, what's his nuts, comes up and is like, no, you can't fucking do that because you'll get fucking killed by a fucking wild Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Rattata or a Pidgey because everything is dangerous in the world.
Very true.
Are you just, held prisoner in, your house because wild Pokemon will just attack at random?
But your mom doesn't stop you. You can just walk out the door.
Meh.
Yeah, but, do they just stay in the high grass? They never, is there some, magical barrier shit going on there?
Yes. Yeah, a little bit.
Do you actually know this, or are you just making shit up, Justin?
Mostly it's a case of game design as it sits.
Well, yes. Every time you step into the grass, there's, a potential possibility you may run into a Pokemon.
But here's my problem, is why do they just stay in the grass? Why don't they just go hey, fuck, those people have food, I'm going to go steal it?
Either in the
true,
grass,
but that starts to head into anime territories.
Or they're in caves everywhere, like Zubats.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Nah.
It's a bat. Basically, bats are everywhere.
Okay, well I can handle a bat, but...
But anywho's, the first person who sends you off is Professor Oak, who, for some reason, has a horrible memory, as I'm sure you were shown a moment ago.
Doesn't know.
Yeah, Justin started a quick run-through of Pokemon Red. Why don't you tell everybody what you named your character?
Oh, for whatever reason, I just decided to name the main character Dick Butt and made him go walk into the grass, and Professor Oak told me I needed protection.
Which I was hoping was just going to be a box of condoms, but...
And of course...
Nobody listens to me.
And of course, what can any adventure miss but conflict? And one of the additional conflicts that's added to everything is your rival. An additional person that travels along in same sort of circumstances as you and comes in every moment he can to just completely stomp on you and degrade you in every way possible.
I should have named him Willie.
Yes, you should have. Anyway, moving past that. Here's one of my problems with the franchise. And maybe you can explain to me if there's an explanation for this.
Should have got to the point where he said, smell you later.
Nah.
Okay.
We'll save that for the end.
Okay, so... Let's say you're a 10-year-old.
Yes.
But you don't live in Pallet Town where Professor Oak is.
Oh,
you live in one of the other fucking, I don't know what the names are. One of these other towns. Is there one like Pewter City or something?
Meh.
Okay, let's say you live there.
Wah.
And you become 10.
Nah.
No, let's say you're farther along in the game. I don't know what any of these places are called. You're at where the last
Let's say
gym is.
Viridian, I don't know.
Okay.
Any one of those sorts of places.
So you start
that's
off...
actually in the middle of... Never mind.
Whatever. I don't fucking care.
Them.
So you start off
Vermilion.
with a level 5 or whatever Pokemon.
Yeah.
But you start off where the last gym is.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you get anywhere? Because all the Pokemon around there are going to be such a much higher level than you are. You're fucked.
Supposedly.
Do you just catch an airline over to fucking Pallet Town and be like, well, I gotta start over here?
Yeah, probably. You can just...
Either that or some sort of transportation system of someone would give you a lift, or you go...
Do they actually have cars? Because I've never actually seen one.
There are actually cars. You can also use repels just to not encounter any Pokemon on your way
That
over.
is the true.
So do they just, like, does their professor there just, like, here's, like, 500 of these fucking repel gimmicks. Go fucking run to Pallet Town.
Oh, no. There's technically only one Pokemon professor. There's a bunch of scientists and other particular types of people.
If you turn 10 in another one of these cities, whatever they're called,
Then,
you have to go to Pallet Town to get your Pokemon.
probably yes. Either that or
That
in other
seems really inconvenient.
Either that or in other sorts of conventions, you can just go with someone and catch one out in the wild.
Just go buy an Ultra Ball and just go catch just a high-level Pokemon. There you go.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't that be like unnecessarily dangerous?
Well,
A little bit,
there's
probably.
also the Safari Zone. You don't need a Pokemon to actually catch a Pokemon there.
Oh, with that being brought up, the Safari Zone is a wonderful little game area where you can catch Pokemon, but instead of finding them, doing the typical method of catching them, you can either bait them or grab a rock and randomly throw it at it.
Yeah.
And then when it's angry or calm enough, you're able to throw a Pokeball at it and manage to catch it.
Wait. I got questions now.
Here we go again.
Let's say I'm out in a real safari, and I see a lion I want to shoot. The last thing I'm going to do is pick up a rock and go, "Hey, buddy, yeah, fuck you, lion, I'm going to shoot you in the face." What? Why are you making them mad? Like, these things are legitimately dangerous.
Yeah.
And you're pissing them off before you capture them and put them in a little ball and be like, "Hey, now you fight for me."
The Safari Zone episode in the anime was actually never aired in North America.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Basically, the sheriff had like a shotgun.
What?
Yeah, and he almost shot Ash's face off. Or something like that. But it was also the same episode where he got like a bunch of Tauros.
Nah.
I don't know what that is either.
It's a bull.
One particular thing that I wanted to bring up about your point of why is it that a person has to start at Pallet Town instead of going from other particular places, you do have to remember this is a game. So games have to give certain roadblocks and ways for each of the players to success, which brings us to the use of HM moves. Specific moves that need to be used to advance within the game.
HM is abbreviation for
Hidden Machine.
As opposed to TMs, which are
Technical machines. Moves.
What?
With these little creatures, you can teach them moves from a little machine. If you have a small little creature, now let's go with a Pidgey, and you want to teach it how to throw up a giant gust of wind, you can take a machine and teach it to them.
Yeah, and basically the machines are represented by like a CD disc thing. So I always imagine like how to teach a Pokemon a TM or HM. You just kind of give them the disc. And they kind of I don't know. I don't know what they do with it, actually. If they have a horn or something, you can spit it on their horn. Maybe it has like a disc reader.
I mostly think of it as an old anime comic that I remember getting, where TM was a little box, and you breaked open the little box, little powdery stuff broke out of it and went over the Pokemon and taught the move. But then the TM was broken and you can only use it once.
So you're giving them cocaine.
Like, the first
Yeah, possibly. Either that or some kind of ecstasy.
No.
So you're encouraging drug use. Okay, well that's fine.
Hey, the first Pokemon game encouraged gambling.
Well, yeah, and that guy has the best job. Look, there are two folks that I understand in this game. Dude who owns a casino and dude who owns a bike shop. Because dude who owns the bike shop charges $1 million for a bicycle, and nobody complains.
Unless they have a bike voucher, in which case they can get a bike for free.
Yeah, in that case he's fucked. But he's still charging $1 million for a bicycle. You sell
guy,
two and you retire.
And as for the casino owner, he probably doesn't get that much since Team Rocket has taken over the casino place.
Okay, I vaguely remember Team Rocket. Now, again, vague recollections of something I watched when I was like 8.
What?
And that's a longer time ago than I care to remember.
The world.
Well, yeah, kind of. Anyway, how did Team Rocket take over anything? They're fucking dumb. And they have a little cat thing that talks, and it's terrible.
That was them. With taking them out of the picture from the anime, Team Rocket managed to succeed stealing several different kinds of fossils, which can be revived and turned into actual Pokemon within the series.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a minute. Ran a casino where they sold off extremely rare Pokemon for the highest bidder, killed a Pokemon in success in trying to get their particular things done, and took over a giant company building to try and take its particular access to try and make money for itself. All within the game. And then a 10-year-old decides to butt in and stop them.
Yeah, okay, so...
Yeah.
You brought up the death of Pokemon. Now, this is another question I have. I remember playing Red.
Yes.
When I was 8.
Yes.
And when your Pokemon was defeated, it fainted.
Yes.
It didn't die, it fainted.
Yes.
So, how are these Pokemon dying? Like, are they just getting shot in the face or some shit?
Nah. Again, you can probably just take real life sort of things and sort of bring it to that. Where they can die of old age, or drowning, or being torn to shreds, or being shot. Pretty much any method of death you could think of, a Pokemon could probably go through the same thing.
You can also see, basically, they're also kind of technically animals as well, so they kind of, like,
Animals gotta eat.
Yeah, it's kind of more or less a cycle of life within the game as well.
Okay, but they have cemeteries.
Yep.
And here's my other problem, is when I was playing this game here, my Pokemon got cut up and all sorts of shit when they fainted. Never died.
Yeah,
so,
even with a move called Guillotine, a one-hit
or
kill.
There was some, like, needle missile or I don't know, bullshit. Okay. First off, if it's just Pokemon gots to eat, I understand.
No.
But why are they burying them? That's... Ugh.
Nah.
Okay, also, Ghost type and Dark type.
Ghost was the only one that was introduced in the first game, but don't worry, Dark will come up.
Dark's kind of technically like... Isn't that Gen 2 or 3?
It's 2 that it shows up, but we'll stick with 1 until most of the important bits are hit. But, yes, Ghost is a type. Did you want to bring it back to the previous question of how exactly Ghost types exist?
Yes. Please explain this to me, because it's... when I don't even know what to call it.
Well, since there's only 3 Ghost types in particular that we can talk about in the series...
It's the same Pokemon.
Pretty much. The most idea that I can sort of get is a spirit randomly combined with a gas and became a Ghastly.
There's Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar in the first game.
And that's about it.
Basically a ghost poison type.
Oh, okay.
Bleh.
But that's the only ghost they really had for Gen 1.
So, okay. Now, this might seem like a dumb question. And it won't be the first time.
Yeah.
But, so you get yourself a fucking Charmander.
Nah.
And he dies.
Nah.
And his little spirit goes wandering around and, you know, gets connected to some gas and he turns into a Ghastly. Is this what I'm getting?
Nah, about the closest thing. Most likely it will be a point of contention that will be argued for several hundred hours on the internet. And I'm sure someone has actually pointed it out. But until the company sort of said so, it's mostly just theories.
Alrighty. Well, what's next?
Well, if we want to skip any additional points, most fact is that the only other goal within the game is you go and collect gym badges from certain people, fight up to the top of the Pokemon League, and try to become the champion.
Because that's the main goal in the game, and then catch them all.
Yeah, that as well.
Okay.
With the first game having 150 Pokemon, with one additional one that's hidden within the game.
Yeah, because they had that in the last
I have questions about gym badges. This is another thing I don't understand.
Bleh. Okay.
So, you start off with your little fucking Charmander, your whatever the other ones are called.
Bleh.
And you're going along, and you get these gym badges after you defeat people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fine, whatever, it's an achievement in the game, I get that. Here's the problem I have. Some of these badges say that once, like, unless you have this badge, you know, Pokemon level X won't obey you. So if your Pokemon hits level 22 and you don't have a badge for that shit, they're just gonna go fucking apeshit.
Not so much apeshit, but not bother listening to you.
Yeah, but like, my dog doesn't just randomly decide, like, hey, You're not trained enough to tell me what to do. Fuck you.
Well, let's see. You have a level 100 Charizard, and you only have one gym badge. It ain't gonna take shit from you. It's gonna be all like, you're my boss, human.
Yeah, but
That's basically how that works.
but why would it
guess.
care if I have like all the badges? Is it
Because you are special now.
so?
Mostly, I think it's
hate
sort of
this.
a case of prestige. You actually know what the heck you're doing, and it supposedly follows with it. Aside from being
But
like,
why does a wild animal care if I have a fancy badge or not?
because they're more than wild animals. Pokemon in the anime and in some other circumstances have feelings and actually can somewhat care about certain things.
I hate it. I hate it.
Dude, this is a series for little kids. You gotta give them the soft feely softs at some point.
No, you don't. Everybody dies. Get over it.
But, aside from those particular points, that's the general gist of what Gen 1 gave us to start with. Then, moving on to Gen 2, mostly a couple additional upgrades, a couple additional HMs and blockades for you, and pretty much a brand new set of 100 Pokemon to juggle with, giving it up to 100 or 252 Pokemon to move up to in the second generation.
Which I didn't actually get into Gen 2 and 3 at all until, like, the remakes came out. But
But
But then, of course, the interesting question you never bothered to get into was, sure, these things are animals. How do they reproduce?
I don't want. No.
Because Generation 2 introduced breeding.
oh yeah, so you can breed a male and a female Diglett, and somehow you can make an egg.
So those Digglets are those like dildo looking things, right?
Yeah,
Little
sure.
heads sticking out of the ground.
Well, I mean, that's just an example. I mean, I could use a different Pokemon, but you get the idea more or less, I hope.
Okay. So, hypothetical. Let's say I got me a fancy little Diglett over here.
Blah.
And I got a Charmander over here.
Okay.
And I want them to breed.
Yeah, it would most likely be a bit difficult. The game has specific mechanics where certain Pokemon can breed with each other.
There's a
the
thing
interesting
called
thing
egg
is,
groups.
There is an interesting thing about certain Pokemon, though.
But, like, just... Okay, so...
Because Skitty can breed with a whale lord.
A what? No, what?
Let me give him a chance to actually show him. This thing is a Skitty. It's a little tiny cat thing.
Okay.
It's cute, normal, and kind of does
It's
some
like a
silly,
puny little
fancy
cat
things.
thing.
Okay.
It can breed with a whale.
What the fuck?
It's like a huge-ass whale.
It's like...
It
It's
would
like a
flatten
blimp.
the thing.
It's the float whale Pokemon.
A float... Wait, what in the hell is...
That's its species, the float whale Pokemon.
I hate it. I just... Oh.
It's crazy and ridiculous, we know. But aside from that, mostly just some additional things were added, such as time changes, actual time within the series, and other simple things within there. You also actually got a cell phone within year 2000 or so, which made decent enough sense.
Where a
within
guy
the game.
named Joey always calls you about his top percentile Rattata.
It gets very
So
annoying.
he has a really powerful rat and he's super proud of it?
Yes.
Well, good for him.
I
Yeah.
know, right? It's like,
Has he ever been to New York?
who knows?
I would not be
Maybe.
surprised.
Did he just like run into New York and be like, "Hey, I get a fucking rat here, guys"? just
No,
that one will
it's the
do.
top percentile of Rattata.
Oh well, he's got a really special rat. Good
It's
for
really
him.
special.
But for the most part, Gen 2 just gave a couple advancements, as well as a post-game that allowed you to trample over Kanto again, playing with the new ones.
You're saying words and they don't make any sense. to me.
Basically, in Gen 2, you can go back to
The area where the first game was
Yeah.
set.
You can go back to
Okay,
So these two
Original
regions were relatively close to each other.
but why would I want to?
Yeah.
So
Some
you can
people
get
like the
additional-
extra adventure and the nostalgia blast for the time.
You get an
But
additional 8 badges to make 16 badges in the whole game.
Oh god, there's more badges.
Dude, not until Generation 7 there was only badges.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
wait.
We're not getting to Gen 7.
We'll have to wait for that, because now we're in Generation 3,
Oh,
where an
God.
additional 135 Pokemon were added.
Okay, here comes my. How many
A
fucking
lot of whale
Pokemon are
types.
there?
Not whale types. A lot of water types.
The total number of Pokemon at this date and time has reached 802.
Fuck me senseless.
I'd rather not.
Well, good. 802.
Yes. Each generation adds a couple hundred. The
Well,
couple
not a
newest
couple hundred,
generations
still.
have started to slow it down a little bit. For the most part, it's a decent chunk.
Yeah, they want to have more quality Pokemon instead of just the typical garbage. And I don't mean just trubbish.
Nah,
I don't know what that means, but okay.
we'll get to it. Don't worry.
So they just keep spewing out this bullshit, huh?
Mostly for something new and interesting for people to explore, as well as what this generation focused on. Different habitats and locations. Within this
God.
region, there were volcanoes, deserts, a giant ocean, and a giant forest that you could explore.
I remember
We're
all of
talking
these
about
things in the
Hoenn?
original game. There was a forest, there were oceans, all this bullshit.
There was no volcano.
Okay, well,
Are we talking about...
I don't really
or
want
are
to
we
go...
talking about... Okay.
I don't really
region.
want to go inside a volcano if I'm a 10-year-old kid.
Nah, you're going to have to.
Yeah, if you want to save the world from the teams in this game.
So
Within
they're
Generation
just
2
trying to kill children at this point.
Within Generation 2, they reused the Team Rocket group for evil purposes. This gen decided to bring in two new evil teams, known as Team Magma and Team Aqua, with two different goals. Magma wanted to cause a giant eruption to make more land so that they can use it for more construction purposes.
Or cause a lot of drought.
Nah. Then Team Aqua wanted to expand the sea to make a better environment for water Pokemon.
Or
because
just-
they felt they were being endangered.
Or just flood the entire world and kill everything on it.
We'll get to that.
So, okay, I'm the 10-year-old protagonist of this game.
Yes.
Why the fuck am I dealing with this and not the, like, police?
Mostly because they get in your way in some sort of point. And if you wanted to progress, you had to deal with them, and you were like, ugh, okay.
So why can't I pull up my fancy cell phone and dial 911 and just be like, hey, Copper, this fucker's trying to, like, blow up a volcano. You think you could send, like, a SWAT team or
There
some
are
shit?
actual, like, police, at least in Gen 7 that I noticed, but they're really incompetent.
There isn't that much of a police presence within the games by itself.
Well,
If
that's
anything-
a problem.
If anything needs to get done, it's most likely going to be done by the player character.
This just
Generally,
seems like a really dumb world.
It is, in some fashion.
Well, the
Thank you for
Pokemon...
admitting it.
The Pokemon world isn't trying to be the real world, because the real world has life, and life makes video games very, very weird.
You don't want police to get in your way in your adventure.
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because he
Because
most likely
I don't
doesn't
want to
wanna
deal
go
with
on.
some crazy psychotic who wants to make the world burn. Some fucking Joker bullshit.
Are you sure? I mean, you can do that in, like, GTA anyway. Cops always get in your way.
Yeah, but that's fun because I get to shoot them in the face. And
But
go
it's-
die, you stupid cop.
But aside from that, there wasn't much else aside from introducing a bit more different ideals, such as dealing with space in more respects.
What?
One of the legendary Pokemon within the game is the space alien.
So you're a 10-year-old and you become an astronaut.
Not until Generation 6.
When they jumped the shark.
Nah, I wouldn't say they jumped the shark then.
It was
Most likely
still
they jumped.
kinda...
Most likely they jumped to start a little bit earlier, but that was most likely a decent jumping part
You
too.
catch a Rayquaza, ride on its back, and wearing a astronaut uniform, and you get flown right into outer space to fight a space alien.
Yes.
A what
in the
now?
in the new games, not this one.
I
We'll
know,
get
not-
there.
I know, but it's still technically the remake of the Gen 3 title.
We'll get there,
Oh my
which we're
God,
getting
I
to there
hate
now. One of the particular things about this generation being released, they didn't bother making a way to trade Pokemon from one generation to the next. So everyone from 2 to 1 was kind of left in the dust. So, one of the particular things they did to try and resolve that was make remakes of the first game again.
Yeah, so that you can try catching them all. And actually have all 300 and whatever at that time.
Because it is still their tagline.
Gotta catch all the bullshit, okay.
Meh.
Something like that.
Aside from that,
I got it right?
That's not exactly how to quote it, but that's fine.
It's close enough for the time being. Then moving on to Generation 4, things started getting a little bit more advanced technical-wise. It was adding in Wi-Fi, working in with other people, that sort of fancy
first
stuff.
online game.
Story-wise, though, it started to get a little bit insane.
It started?
It started in Gen 4, honestly.
No, it
The evil team had its thoughts represented in 3 different chunks. The grunts of the group thought that they were getting some higher power and going to be brought to this amazing place. The
Basically,
commanders of the
cultists.
center wanted a better world. The leader of this group had in mind of completely destroying the world and rebuilding his own world.
What? I hate it. Like, what? This...
And the worst thing is he nearly does it.
Okay, here's my problem. If you're running an organization, and each level thinks you're doing something different, there's a communication breakdown somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So these people just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Nah, they're not exactly very intelligent grunt-wise. The commanders probably have at least an idea, but not the full idea of what the commander really wanted in Gen 4.
Okay, so basically, he's a Bond villain. He wants to take over the world.
Something like that.
No, he wants to destroy it. Everything about the world that is what it is, he wants gone and rebuilt into a world that he supposedly said is without emotion.
I like him already. Can I make it so that he wins?
We might have to see for the remake of the new games that are coming out in a couple of months to a year.
You can basically just get to that point and then stop playing. There, he wins.
But nevertheless, he supposedly manages this because the Pokemon he's dealing with, legendary-wise, have the power to control time, or control space, or control antimatter.
Okay,
Or
wait. So they're Pokemon that can control time
Yes.
and space.
Yes.
What the fuck?
So
They
this
essentially
generation-
created pretty much everything to assist.
This generation
They were being
started
led by someone. The Pokemon series went ahead and created a Pokemon that was pretty much comparable to God.
Yes, they did.
So, wait. I want to make sure I get this right. So, theoretically, as a 10-year-old in this franchise, I could get my little fancy Pokeball, chuck it at God,
There was going to be an
capture
event
God
for Gen 4 to actually do that, but it never got released, at least not here.
Well,
yeah, no, they never bothered to do it.
I need to understand this. I could capture God
Headstick.
and make God fight for me.
Yes.
How is that not universe breaking?
You could supposedly, but then Nintendo sort of thought, oh wait, we want to maybe wait a little bit on this and not bother with it.
Because that's
So,
like me
besides
getting
them-
Jesus to fight for me in like a boxing match.
So besides them having events to give out the Pokemon, you could never actually catch it in game.
But you could still get it.
You could still get
You
it.
would just receive it from, like, events or whatever. No, that's the only way I
So
would
this
get
is
it.
some online bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically.
Okay, I got you. It's still like me getting Jesus to be an MMA fighter for me, though.
Bleh,
Sure, comparable.
bleh.
Okay, well, that's fucked up. Continue.
Well, for the most part, that's just about everything in Gen 4. Aside from the additional remakes of Generation 2 for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which added in not really much aside from the one thing that just about every Pokemon fan wants.
I don't know what
any
that is.
Pokemon just follow behind you.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
everyone absolutely adores it, and I don't know why.
Well, yeah, it was the only generation that had like Pokemon just follow right behind the protagonist.
You forgot Pokemon Yellow. They did it with Pikachu.
Yeah, just. Well, I guess that's how they got the idea to do it for Gen 2.
Yeah.
Because,
So-
why not just have any other Pokemon follow behind instead of just Pikachu?
Yeah, but why? Who cares?
The people who supposedly care about it.
Okay, whatever. Fuck them.
It's
But
a gimmick.
So,
yeah.
the interesting bit starts to come in Generation 5,
Which
where
I
Pokemon
didn't
decided to try a soft reboot.
Oh god.
Where,
Well, it could use one.
surprisingly enough, they gave you 156 Pokemon that you could play with, but only that 156. None of the other Pokemon that they released could be used for the time. They wanted you to play with a completely free experience with a new set of Pokemon that are different from everything else that's been released. It also gave you somewhat of a story, a bit more than what was actually sort of given. There was discussion of rights for Pokemon.
Finally.
Why is it that we have to capture Pokemon and use them to battle for any sort of purpose like that? And the evil team was the one that brought this up. Yet this is also the evil team that went ahead and kicked a Pokemon to try and capture it and steal Pokemon from people who already own it to try and get them away and supposedly free them.
Okay, so this is another problem I've had with this whole franchise. Why, like, I get it. I want to be some, fucking big shot. I caught them all. I'm fucking special. But how are people okay with this? Because I'm pretty sure if I go to Africa, I can't just put a collar on a lion and say it's mine.
True.
And then bring it home and make it my pet.
Of course, you're also bringing the idea of real life into video games, which is kind of, what? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, but, okay. So if I'm 10 and I can get this, like, bug-looking thing with fucking, like, swords for arms...
Ooh, I can show you one of those if you'd like.
That's a thing.
It's a thing. Well, depending. If you want the old version, the new version, or the newest version that come out.
Which Pokemon again?
It doesn't matter. I can get this bug thing with fucking swords for arms as a 10-year-old and walk around with it in my pocket.
No.
And if I get pissed at someone, I can just be like, go fucking sword arms, slice that dude up.
Or battle him and battle the Pokemon that he has.
How is anybody okay with this? It's like giving every 10-year-old a shotgun and being like, don't shoot each other, just bad people.
I think most of the anime kind of tries to deal with that, where the Pokemon have feelings. They know that things are right and wrong. And they try to keep it kid-friendly.
So, are some Pokemon just, like, inherently evil and that's why they work for, like, the Team Rocket or whatever the fuck?
In certain cases.
Certain circumstances, I guess.
Okay. Keep going.
But nevertheless, it didn't really go over well in the end. Because, like in Generation 4 before it turns out that the main leader of the evil group was just like, oh no, I just want to take over the world. And just taking all the Pokemon away from all the people so I can take over the world by myself and just do it that way.
I find that sort of situation really dumb when it's like, I just want to take over the world because Pokemon, I can have a god do my bidding.
Yeah, but it seems like everything in this world is based on Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's called Pokemon for a reason.
Yeah, but... Because, like, in Pokemon, it's like everything is Pokemon-centric. It's like Pokemon movies, it's Pokemon bullshit.
It's the entire world.
That's all they have, it seems, though. It's like, do they just not have an economy aside from this?
No, economy that centers around it, yes.
Yeah, but... Okay, so if you look at Canada, we have more than one thing that our economy is based on.
We have, like, bug maniacs, bird watchers, we got,
Yeah, but that's not our economy.
No,
Those are just insane
not really.
people.
I mean...
Well, you
Right,
do have to travel and use particular items to assist with travel purposes, healing, and other sorts of things. So there are other economies within things, but it still all centers around Pokemon in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but... okay, whatever. I don't get it, but okay. Continue.
No worries, the additional comments that will most likely be coming from this vlog will be more than happy to fill you in on the finer details that I have no time with explaining on this.
I hate it. I don't
But
care.
nevertheless, after 5, they decided to release a sequel to 5.
Yeah, they made Black and White too.
So
Well, I know.
they made a sequel 2 years after the first one, which was essentially the same story, which was a case of the villain comes back, it's like, you know what, I tried to do it the somewhat sneaky way and actually get my job done, and it's like, you know what, that didn't work, fuck this, I'm gonna be freezing several cities to get what I want.
Yeah, basically, just kind of destroy cities, become Mr. Freeze, or something.
So he's got a freeze ray.
Well, freeze ship.
He's got a freeze ray because that's more James
Freeze Ray
Bond.
on a ship.
That's powered by
I like
a giant
this guy
legendary
already.
monster.
Wait, it's powered by what?
It's powered by the legendary ice dragon monster.
Well,
I smell bullshit again.
Well, remember, everything is done by Pokemon, so Pokemon has to be the gimmick with this as well.
Oh, why can't they just... Look, I'm not a fan of Batman and Robin, but at least he powered it with diamonds. And that was dumb, but... What are you doing?
Something to show you a little bit later
You
after
can't-
this discussion is done.
Going to...
I hate it.
After this discussion is done, I'll show
do
you.
a Pokemon
But
Generations
for the
on
most
it?
part,
Oh, God.
that's how the series sort of goes. Next into Generation 6, it decides to throw something into the mix, which is Mega Evolution.
Meaning, it's an extra evolution to your Pokemon. So say you have a Charizard, now you can Mega Evolve the Charizard into...
Something different.
Yeah, basically, the Charizard, I can't remember the name of it, X form, basically turns it into a kind of a black, fiery blue dragon type, dragon fire type, instead of its standard flying
So
fire
they
type.
they made it so there's 4 evolutionary phases instead of 3.
However,
At the
Mega
most.
Evolution,
Is temporary.
Is temporary.
Where it only
Only in
happens within the battle that you use
it
it.
reverts back after battle.
So it's steroids.
Sure.
A little bit, yes.
Okay. So they're giving Pokemon steroids now.
A little bit, yes.
Okay, well, yeah, that's fine,
However-
because I inject my dog with steroids every day.
However, it's only done with a specific bond or some shit.
They say, but
Yeah.
the newest game has had some interesting things to say about that. We'll get to it. Anyways, aside from that, it's over in France, and it's the same sort of situation with the evil team.
France?
The
In
region is
France.
called Kalos.
But it's
Wait,
based,
wait.
But it's based on France.
These games take place in France?
No,
It's based in France, from the looks of it. I mean,
Technically-
seriously, there's a giant Eiffel Tower lookalike in the middle of the big city.
each region in the world of Pokemon is basically supposed to mimic an area of like the world. So Kalos is like France.
Unova was based on New York, supposedly?
Was it?
If I remember right, around
wouldn't
that
know.
region.
But
Okay, well,
basically, it's similar to that. I think Kanto is like Japan. I think.
No,
Or
the
was
last
it-
4 regions were based in certain areas of Japan.
okay, well,
Okay, I don't know.
whatever. Continue. You've got more, I'm assuming?
Well, the last one would be in Generation 7, which is based on a couple of islands, the idea of
Hawaiian
Hawaii.
Islands.
They've finally done away with the idea of you had to collect gym badges and try to battle to be the top.
Hallelujah.
Now it's more of a case of you have to follow this sets of islands traditions. And
Oh,
their
God.
specific traditions is sending you through a couple of challenges. Some as easy as traveling through a certain cavern to collect something, watching a couple of dances to see what's completely different about them, or discovering what's making a splashing noise.
What?
Well, basically, you're just following a splash, and it's like, okay, so what's causing a splash? Oh, it's just a wishy-washy. Don't ask what a wishy-washy is.
I can show you what a wishy-washy is.
Oh, God. I'm gonna hate it. I just know.
Looks like this.
So, it's a fish.
It's a sardine, technically, but yeah, it's a little tiny fish. And then it evolves into this.
It's not really an evolution, per se.
What the fuck?
It's about 3,527 little wishy-washies swimming together.
That's about right. With its schooling ability. I never got into abilities.
Oh, God. Why? No, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Are you sure you don't want to know? I thought you did.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Mostly because it brings up a whole bunch of complicated sort of stuff if you go into the real meat of everything. I mean, seriously, if I went into all the particular stuff about how stats work and getting into battle properties, we'd be here all day, and you'd most likely want to slap your head against a wall several hundred times.
I already do.
But when it comes down to it, Pokemon is a video game series where you catch magical creatures, go on a little adventure, most likely experience some crazy shit, and just have some fun with traveling, seeing different locations, and seeing fanciful stuff.
Alrighty. Well, I know there was also a card game.
Yep.
Ex-
There
ex-
is.
Explain this to me.
Oh boy, I'll try my best. I'm not exactly an expert with it.
I don't think any of us are.
Nah.
I owned like maybe 100 cards in like '98, so I don't really remember any of this. The floor is yours, sir. Explain to me Pokemon the card game nonsense.
It's essentially like Magic the Gathering is about the best explanation I could come up with.
Okay.
But with Pokemon.
Yes.
Okay. I understand that. Very good. Is there anything else about Pokemon that I quote-unquote need to know? Because so far, I hate it all. I just hate it.
I think the only other two things aside from the movies is just anime-wise, it pretty much follows the series of where they specifically are, and all the particular things that I told you about each of them is essentially what the anime goes through.
So the anime's designed to sell video games.
A bit of that as well as merchandise, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pikachus sell all over the world.
Meh.
Yeah, well, in Japan they have Pikachu ketchup apparently, which...
Yeah, sure.
The only other two things I can think of are Pokemon tournaments where they compete playing the game or card games for prizes.
Yes.
And the fact that there's a specific program that's not made by Nintendo where you can essentially build the Pokemon you want.
So basically, in the game series, you can have individual values and effort values on every Pokemon.
You might want to wait on that.
Are
That
you
starts
sure?
getting into the complicated territory.
Well, this all has to do with tournament play.
For the most part. Essentially, there's just a program where you can make a Pokemon that's specifically made for battle purposes. And
But you
it's
wouldn't
cheating as it is,
that
but
would be
people
cheating.
do it.
So I could make a shotgun.
That's not
Not
essentially
specifically,
what it is.
but you could make a Pokemon that's powerful for what it needs to do.
Okay, well...
It's like turning up all the volumes up to 11, you know, on a Pokemon.
Or in specific...
You just turn all the knobs up, I got it.
You got
Or
it.
like
Okay.
in specific sports games, you could increase all the stats on all your players to be absolutely undefeatable.
Gotcha. So you're just a dick, basically. by
In
doing
certain
this.
cases, yeah.
But there's legitimate ways to do it in the actual game itself through breeding methods or other.
We're not going to get
also
into breeding
methods.
because that still bothers me.
Okay.
It is an option,
I
but
don't...
you can do it yourself within the game, but there are options outside of the game where you can do it, despite the fact that it's cheating.
Okay.
But aside from that, that's the
This
Pokemon
baffles me.
series in a nutshell.
It's a fun game series. I just have fun with it. Actually, I haven't really played it in the last month, but
Alright, well, you know what? Who am I to stand in the way of somebody enjoying something, but I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I refuse to play it, and anybody who likes it is an asshole and I hate them.
okay. Well,
Well,
you just kind of
you wanna-
contradicted yourself there.
Well, that and
Yeah, I know, but...
we expect that from you. You hate about just everything. The simple
Yeah, it's
fact that
true.
you have the particular thought of showing some respect for what people like is definitely a nice step in the right direction. And get ready for next week because we'll be discussing about the Dark Souls series.
I don't know anything
What?
about that.
What? No, you don't make promises like that. No,
See
no.
you all next week.
No, we're not doing Dark Souls because I don't even know what the fuck that is, and it's... No.
Do you still have a PS3?
Yes, why?
I could lend you some of the games and
No.
force you to play through them.
No, you can't.
You
they're
don't
fun.
know what I could do.
No.
They're
No.
They're fun if
See-
you like. If you're a masochist.
But I'm not. And when he starts doing the evil laugh, I get nervous.
I don't know. I find them fun, but I haven't really played too many.
He's
of them.
going like full Bond villain. That's not okay.
Oh, Paul, I learned from the best.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Anyway, is that everything?
No, I think that will do it.
Alrighty, well,
Anyways, name's Dave.
Justin.
and I'm Paul.